So this is the back side, the side I guess. This is my pool equipment here, and that's the heater. Rats have gotten and made a big nest in there. We called the warranty guy since it wasn't working. We thought it was some issue with the unit, but when he opened up, there was a huge rat nest. And the process, they chewed up a bunch of wires in there, so it's pretty much rendered useless now. I've ordered wires, the cable, the inside it's like a huge cable with a bunch of wires, plugs and sockets and so on. And I've also ordered a separate igniter because he's chewed up the igniter wire as well. So I'll show it to you guys when I open it what it looks like, but basically it's pretty much rendered useless right now, and I'm hoping to fix it. They basically, the pool guy said, you know, no one wants to do the labor anymore, so they replaced the whole unit, which costs anywhere from $1,800 to $2,500 depending on who you go to, and labor plus the labor and all that stuff. So it's a big expense. I'm gonna give it a shot by just replacing the wires. The wire alone costs about $250, somewhere around there. So looking at replacing that whole thing, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, today's the day we fixed the heater. Things, I got the harness, electrical wires here, and I'm gonna open this puppy up. That's what the heater looks like from inside. So here's the chewed out wires, kind of split out, and then the heater wire here, as you can see right there. That's the main component that's gonna be difficult to replace, but I've got that too. So overall, it's gonna be a tricky project, I will say. Okay, so now we've got everything opened up, meaning all the wires exposed, and as you can see, all the different connectors, this one being the main. So I've got this part as well. It's the igniter. I'm gonna see if I can, since this goes in the gas chamber, I'm not sure how well that's, you know, the gaskets and everything that's been rusted there. We'll give it a shot replacing that. If not, we'll figure out something there. But basically the idea is that a bunch of connectors, the wires are all over, and we're going to replace one by one, meaning replace the old with the new at each connector, so that we don't lose track of which wire goes where. Because as you can see, the harness, the wire stuff that I've ordered has got different pins, different joints, there's no way, unless you're manufacturing this, to know exactly what goes where. So we'll replace one at a time, take the old out and put it with new, one connector at a time to be safe, and go from there. We'll catch up again when we start. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're removing the transformer. We've got some rusted nuts and bolts, so we've kind of lubricated some of that stuff. My 12-year-old here helping me, my assistant, is taking out the transformer screws. So what we're doing is we're trying to identify every wire, every end, loosening up the parts. I've got a new transformer with the wire. Automatically it came with it. So we're going to replace the transformers and identify every part. There's wires going everywhere, as you can see there's a wire coming out. So we took out the 240 volt a female plug-in here that was there. It's on the other side right now, and there's also wires going here under it into this chamber here. So we're gonna take this off also shortly. So basically identify every wire where it goes and expose it so that, and prepare for it so that when we start the whole process, it can flow hopefully relatively smoothly. The other thing first I'm doing is you see this one here, this is that female plug I was talking about, but also this one here, this is the igniter, the gas igniter. As you can see, it's been completely chewed out, and that's a clearer shot. And so what we've done is I've lubricated this bolt. This one is kind of rusted. This one has loosened up here on this side. This one is loosened up. It's this one that is rusted, and hopefully we'll be able to successfully get it out smoothly. And I've got this part as well. So there were two things I ordered. One was the harness, the whole electrical circuit wire, and the other is the igniter, and I'll show you later when we replace it, before I replace the new one. And hopefully in the next step is to remove this transformer. This gets loosened up, replace this so that we're done with this part, and then start with the wiring process. Make sure all the ends are accounted for. Catch up soon. After some lubricant and muscle power, we will get the bolt out, the nut out of here, both sides. This one was rusted, as you can, I think, see from the previous clip. It's now out. Looks like this, pretty rusted, but we were able to get it out in one piece. Now I'm gonna get this piece out, this metal clamp here, and then hopefully replace that with the new piece. Alright, so this is what we got out of there. As you can see, it's pretty roughed up, chewed out, and here's the new piece. As you can see, it's the same part, but we got the new one. So I'm gonna fit this in with the new one, new igniter in there, and hopefully this will be the last thing I need to do, last big thing I need to do before I start with the wires. Alright, so here's the new one. We kind of put it in, secured. Now I think the big piece is out. Now we're gonna follow through with all the connector points, make sure we got full exposure to all the connector points, and replace them one by one. I'm gonna walk through all the old wires right now and show you guys where all it goes, and then we're gonna start working on it one by one. I don't have a GoPro to wear, otherwise I'd be wearing it. But this is the main cable from the circuit board that we're gonna start replacing from here. And so we're gonna, pull these out and replace with the new one, pull this out, replace with the new one, and work our way through. So basically, if you look at this, the wires are going in here. So we'll shove those wires in there, replace these wires one by one with the appropriate panel connectors. And then we're gonna go in here and replace this connector here with the appropriate wires. Then there's some wire going in the bottom of this thing here into this box here that we opened. So we'll replace these wires here, and then there's another plug coming in here to the motor connection, and replacing that. There's also a harness coming in here. As you can see, it's clamped, and that goes down here to these connection points. So we're going to replace those one by one. And similarly, I think there's something that goes this way, and as you can see, it clips to the other stuff there. So I don't think I'm going to be able to show one by one each wire is replaced. Oh yeah, and I forgot there's wires here too coming back. So there's several connections. You just have to, I think it's pretty straightforward if you're just disciplined to, replace one or get one out and replace it with the other. I'm gonna have my 12-year-old to help me out, follow it. It'd be good if you have a second eye to kind of watch you or help you as you need. And sometimes it just needs a little different thinking perhaps that the other person can add. So off we go. I will come back and show you hopefully the replaced, or somewhere halfway we'll take a status check. And okay, so basically what we've done thus far is replace the wires here on the panel, which is the PCB there. We actually replaced the wires here, so these are the new ones. As you can see, these are the old ones from the circuit board, and these are the ones from this box here. So pretty much we've covered, as you can see, it was pretty easy. Pentair has done a real good job of labeling everything, so we found that even if you forget where you pulled it from, whatever, these names here are printed on the wires here. So as you can see, IND, for example, here goes to IND here, and so on. So they've done a very good job of labeling, so that definitely should help. One of the things we just did was, while pulling this out, these two plugs automatically pulled out. They're pretty loose, and we think it's AC, so it doesn't matter where you put where, but because it's going to the fuse and then to the transformer. So so we're pretty much done with this main one here, with this one here, and now we're going to follow through with some of the wires here and on the other side. Alright, so I'm finally done. Took a lot more maneuvering around than I had imagined. As you can see, all this is new stuff. This is the new wires coming in, all the new wires going in here. Couple of things to keep note of. So there's a clamp here that when you actually get to it, you'll have to take out the old wires and put in the new. These look like these are all AC, so they don't have as long as the two brown wires and two orange wires are paired up and going to the right place, they don't have the plus and minus to worry about. So you can kind of interchange. They have a common indicators as well. Couple of things in addition to that, you gotta worry, like here, when you pull out all this stuff, these wires, this pin here, this pin doesn't go through this hole. However, if I turn the back here, on the back side, if you can see under this transformer here, I'm not sure if I can focus here. This part here, actually the hole is much bigger, but this plastic thing here blocks it. So you gotta pull this panel off, these two screws out, and then you'll be able to take this pin out along with all the wires and bring the new pin in back, and then fasten these up. There's quite a few wires coming in here, so in addition to all this, these wires, that is this pin we talked about just now, these, all these have to be swapped out. So and it kind of gets, well, if you have nimble fingers, with my thick fingers, it's gets a little, probably have some scrapes and stuff like that, but yeah, just be safe and make sure you're up to date on your shots, because it is rusted iron and stuff like that, so tetanus. So just make sure you're up to date with your shots, and it's easy. It just takes a little time, and like I said earlier, pulling one plug and putting the new one doesn't always work, so you might have to take some pictures, because like here, for example, I had to take off all the wires together, pull it out, and bring in the new wires. So it's not always like, and the maneuvering around when you're replacing the wires here, it gets quite jumbled up and messy here. But as you can see, this is the old set of wires now that I pulled out, and this is the new set. It is pretty clean in there. It tightens up pretty well. There's a small little clip here, so when you wire in this. Maybe I'll show you the old one here, this clip. So this clip here, it's like a zip tie, and it buttons up into a hole in this panel. So at the back it goes here, and you can see it from here. It actually pops up here, this thing here. So it's there to hold things in place, hold the wires in place. But you'll come across some small stuff here and there that I think I've kind of showed everything. But basically, you know, it ties up pretty quick, but it does get sometimes confusing. You will have to pull the transformer out as well. So take the transformer out, and I had got a new one. It came with the wire, so I replaced it anyway. And all in all, I mean, it's pretty easy. Just take your time, be nimble with the fingers, and you know, it kind of all comes together. Be patient. If you're not sure, take pictures of it, take ample pictures, and kind of you know, so it helps you put it back. So I think overall, actually I've got to put this clip back, but other than that, I think I'm kind of ready to wind it up, lock it down. I may give it a start before I completely lock it down. Make sure, I'll probably thoroughly check all the connections again, make sure everything's secure, tight, and we'll come back later. Also, before I forget to mention, there's good documentation here. So if you have a little bit of electrical kind of background, you can kind of follow the color coding here as well. They've done a remarkable job of documenting and showing you the connections and everything. So sometimes if you're kind of not sure where the wire goes, you can kind of follow it here as well. But all in all, it was easy. This clip here also, you know, you got to push this pins here to kind of push it all the way. So just, and kind of when you put it back, just make sure you kind of do the same. All right, I'm gonna start wrapping it up and see if it turns on properly. There we go.